Welcome back to Determination Unbound. I'm Mark.
And I'm Morgan.
And today we've got the OutEquipPro 12 volt AC and heater. It's gonna be a new addition for us so we can try to do some more boondocking.
Okay, we're not just gonna try to do more boondocking. He's downplaying it. We're actually terrified because we're going to do a boondocking challenge where we try to see if we can boondock our way through North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Utah, all the way to Washington. We've only boondocked twice and they were not very successful.
Yeah, it wasn't the best of starting points, but we're gonna see if this is gonna help us turn around. OutEquipPro has a lot of really cool features, and the fact that it's an air conditioner that runs off of 12 volt instead of your typical 110. They have a lot of claims and we're gonna test some of them. We're gonna see how loud it is compared to our traditional 110 AC unit and see if it actually cools.
So in this video, we'll show you how we installed it. We'll show you how loud it is compared to our old AC and how much battery power it draws from our lithium setup.
We're gonna utilize this standard vent fan opening. We're gonna have to get it all prepped up, remove all the lap sealant on here, get it cleaned up, the gasket installed, and get it in here. Just a little PSA, you cannot use the 12 volt on here. The wires are way too thin. It'll create too much resistance and that will create heat and the potential fire. So do not do that. You will have to use the wires they provided. And if it's not long enough to reach where you're going, you'll have to make sure you do your proper calculations and get the proper thickness gauge and all the fuses you need to make sure you do this safely. But if you try to hook up to too thin of wire, you will cause a fire. Let's get this prepped. All right, so to get this lap sealant up, I have one of these paint scrapers, and as long as you're gentle, you don't want to gouge your PVC roof, or if you have a fiberglass roof, scratch it up. So I'm going to be very gentle and just try to slide this underneath here. Sometimes this stuff can be very sticky, I hear. I have not had too much experience with it, but I'm gonna go around and slowly scrape up all these edges. I'm gonna get this cleaned up.
How's it going over there?
Could be easier, but it could also be tougher, I suppose.
Okay, actually you're doing a good job. It's looking pretty clean.
I'm just trying to get all the screw holes exposed. I think that's the last one right there.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, I know there's a ton of y'all out there like me that every time a screw comes out, you keep it. What do you think about these ones? I don't think these are keepers. Let me know in the comments if you'd clean these up and reuse them. Not for me.
Please tell me you would not do that.
Let's see if we missed any screws. Uh-oh, screwed.
Oh, is there a screw there?
Maybe. Yep.
Yep.
I told you we're gonna be missing one. Slow down. If it's not coming out,
Last screw.
probably just missed one. All right.
Oh, there's a hole in our roof. Ah!
Oh wow, that is some sticky icky. So as you can see, ours came prepped with this fan on here. We're just gonna disconnect it. We're not gonna utilize this 12 volt because this is way too thin, like I said earlier. And we're gonna use what came with the OutEquipPro. We can just get rid of this. Thank you. Now this is where the isopropyl alcohol comes in. It helps clean up some of this sticky residue. I think we're actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm happy with where we're at.
Okay.
You happy with it?
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Okay. I'm not happy with how sticky my hands are now though.
All right. Next, we just take the adhesive sticker off of here and then assemble it over the hole. The real work seems to be on the inside. And there's actually a really awesome tutorial on their website that shows you how to put this together. and it has these little plugs in it to give it support. All right, once it's on, it's not coming off. So you better like where you placed it.
Morgan got this prepped. She has the seal in. All that's left is to drop this on top, and then we got to get on the inside and seal everything together. This is going to be like a big sandwich. Let's drop it in. It's not that heavy. Just like that. And they do provide these also to support the back end, so that way it's not just hanging. And that puts it level now. All right, so we're in the inside now, and what we need to do is, let me bring y'all over here. See, it has these has these threads that you have to screw into these holes over here. So if you can see, these are the longest ones that it comes with, and they're too short. So what I had to do is go get some all thread to modify these so we can extend it down so it'll be long enough to reach. So just one thing to be aware of, you might have to just make a little modification. Not a big deal. So these extensions that I made, these all threads, all I did was take the ones that it comes with, put a little extension tube, cut down some all threads to extend it down. Not a big deal. We're gonna go ahead and get this installed here, place them on, and get this wrapped up. All right, got one in. I'm gonna put 3 more in now. All right, now we're gonna stuff these in here. All right, got 1 bar on, second one's going on, and this is what sandwiches it all together. Now it's all started, we're just gonna snug it down. Bolts are too long, so we're gonna go ahead and cut them down. Now we can get better fitment on this, hopefully. Have my safety squints on. All right, so as you can see, we had to zip these off. The OutEquipPro comes with a lot of hardware for a lot of different configurations. It is originally built for vans. So with vans, you have a little bit lower profile. Here in an RV like ours, in our 5th wheel, you have a much larger space from the top of the roof to this bottom roof. So a lot of the stuff that came with it, we had to modify, like you saw, we had to do the extension rods. For these here, we couldn't just drive those screws that came in with it. What I used here was 6/32 all thread, and I'm able to thread them in, and then we just snip them off. Now, as you can see also, there's still some gapping here, and that's because the way the rods are. Again, on a van, it's a little bit different, so the profile's gonna be sit a little bit better. There's some modifications you can do. I'm okay with this for right now. Eventually I'll take this down. As long as you know that you're gonna have to make some modifications and this isn't gonna be plug and play out of the box, it could be a really good fit for you. We're gonna go ahead and test 2 things out. We're gonna check, we have a decibel meter here to see how loud it is on startup. And we also have my battery hooked up to an app where we're gonna be able to see the amperage draw and how many watts it's pulling. So this has the fan dumping right down on it right now. We have a max amperage of about 26 amps right now, and it's drawing 342 watts. It's peaking around 69, 70 decibels. Now keep in mind, this is with it running on turbo, so this is about as loud as it's gonna get. This is it trying to cool down as fast as possible. So now let's go check our Coleman Mach and see what that looks like. All right, so I'm gonna turn on the Coleman here, and we're gonna check out what the decibel meter looks like on that. We're gonna run it also on auto high fan, so that way it's at the same settings, as comparable as possible.
right, all done. You did a great job.
Yeah. The install overall is pretty simple. I will say, again, if you have an RV, that's going to be the biggest challenge. A fifth wheel, anything other than probably a van. I think I've seen them being installed on semis as well. So more car-based, vehicle-based builds, probably some smaller pop-up campers, things that don't have thick roof walls. This is probably going to work straight out of the box for you. It'll work great.
Yeah.
And again, this just took a couple of modifications to make it work. So I just want to be clear, it will require some modifications for you if you do plan on putting it on a fifth wheel.
It seemed like a lifesaver.
Right. So really, that's all it was. We got 2 different types of all thread to extend the rods for the main piece to be able to sandwich it together. So those supports.
Yeah.
There needs to be some modifications done to the supports themselves. And then smaller all thread to keep the control module up on top.
Because of the spacing in our fifth wheel roof, the air ducts aren't aligned, which can lead to less efficient cooling. To help with that, we plan to make a wooden sleeve with a barrier. This will guide the airflow more efficiently and prevent cool air from being pulled back into the air duct too early.
All that being said, this is going to be a game changer, especially for us that we do not have a full solar system.
Yeah.
We have one panel and we have a couple lithium batteries. So it's a pretty small system.
A generator and some propane. Right.
So, but in reality, what that means is we have zero opportunity to run any kind of air conditioner right now because we do not have an inverter that inverts our 110 power over our 12 volt to our 110s. So all our 110 ACs will not work no matter what we do at this point.
And during our boondocking challenge, I fully believe that comfort or lack thereof is what would break us on our challenge. So I'm thinking water. Of course, we have to have water. We have to have Wi-Fi for work because he's still working, you know. And then, of course, comfort. So if we are hot or extra cold, I know we're not going to make it.
This will be a great opportunity to test this out when we go on our boondocking challenge. We're excited to see what we're made
of. I think we're excited to see what we're made of.
Well, we're excited to see what we're made of, and we're excited to see if this bad boy can help us out. So,
I specifically want to boondock outside of Mount Rushmore, and that was one of our top things on our list. Yeah, so I'm very excited. So overall, the AC is 10,000 BTUs, and the heater, I believe, is 5,000 or 5,500 BTUs. So it could help.
Yeah. So make sure you're following along. Hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button. Let us know in the comments what your opinions are, what you feel about a 12 volt AC, and let us know if this is something you can use.
All right, bye.